Okay, section 2 of this chapter is optional and it's fractions in algebra. So it's just a big review of fractions, okay? So first topic is review of fractions and mixed numbers. So several definitions, then we're going to look at converting between improper fractions and mixed numbers, okay? So a fraction is a way to represent part of a whole or division of quantities, okay? So we have two parts to a fraction. The numerator is the top number in the fraction and indicates the number of parts being considered. The denominator is the bottom number in a fraction and it shows the total number of equal parts. So let's say we had the fraction 3/4. Okay, 3 is the numerator, 4 is the denominator. 4 tells us how many equal pieces we're looking at. 3 tells, or how many equal pieces we have this thing cut into, this hole cut into, and 3 tells us how many we're interested in. So if I had this circle right here, pretend it's perfect and cut into 4 exactly equal pieces. If I were to shade 4 of them, or 3 of the 4, I would have the fraction 3/4. So that's kind of just the general definition of a fraction, numerator and denominator, and kind of what it looks like. Next, we have proper fractions. So there are different types of fractions. So proper fractions are fractions where the numerator is always less than the denominator. These fractions, they have a value of less than 1. So any proper fraction, the numerator, the top number, is less than the denominator, and it's less than 1 whole. So if you look at this 3/4, the numerator is less than the denominator. And if I look at the picture that I drew, I have colored in less than the whole picture. So that means it's less than 1 whole. So it has a numerical value less than 1. Another type of fraction is called an improper fraction. So improper fractions are fractions where the numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator. So we could have something like 3/3 or 5/3, okay? So the numerator in the first example, 3/3, is exactly equal to the denominator. The second example, 5/3, the numerator is greater than the denominator. So if we were talking about the value of an improper fraction, the value of an improper fraction is going to be at least 1 or more. So consider a picture. Let's say I have this rectangle, and again, pretend this is split into exactly equal pieces. If I was looking at 3/3, I've broken this rectangle into 3 pieces and I've colored in the entire thing. So this has an exact value of 1. It's 1 whole. Whereas if I were to look at 5/3, well, I take that same rectangle, I split it into 3 pieces. I need to color in 5 of those pieces. Well, I've colored in 1, 2, 3. I still need to color in 2 more of those pieces. So I need to draw another figure. Again, we're assuming these figures are perfect. They're drawn exact. They're broken into 3 exact pieces. So use your imagination a little here. But we've got another figure that's split into 3 pieces. So remember, I've colored in 1, 2, 3. I can now color in 4, 5 pieces. So I have 5/3. Notice this value is more than 1. It's 1 whole plus some. So the value of a proper fraction, where the numerator is less than the denominator, is less than 1. The value of an improper fraction, where the numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator, is 1 or more. Okay. Now we also have mixed numbers. Mixed numbers are numbers that combine a whole number and a proper fraction. So mixed numbers are just another form of an improper fraction. So for example, if I had 1 and 2/3, I could take one rectangle. I want to split it into 3 equal pieces, and I need 1 whole rectangle colored in, but then I need another rectangle split into 3 equal pieces, and I want just 2 of those. So if you look at 1 and 2/3, it's got the exact same picture as 5/3. 1 and 2/3 is another way of writing 5/3. Okay, so mixed numbers are just another form of an improper fraction. So a mixed number is a whole number plus some proper fraction. Okay, so let's look at converting between mixed numbers and improper fractions. Okay. So steps to write mixed numbers as improper fractions. So we're going to take a mixed number and figure out how to convert it to its improper fraction format. So the steps are multiply the denominator and the whole number, and then add the numerator, And then you just want to keep whatever the denominator was and simplify if it comes to that, which we'll talk about how to simplify fractions later. So we take the denominator, we multiply it by the whole number, so 4 times 2. We add the numerator, and then we just put all of that over the original common denominator, that original denominator. So using the order of operations, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. So 2 3/4 is equal to 11/4. So you do need to know how to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction. When you're dealing with fractions, when you multiply and divide, if you have mixed numbers, you have to convert them to improper fractions. So this is really important that you know this. All right, for the second example, let's just practice it one more time. We take the denominator, multiply it by the whole number, add the numerator, keep whatever the original denominator was. So order of operations, we multiply before we add in the numerator. So 9 times 5 is 45. And then we want 45 plus 7, which is going to be what, 52? So we get 52/9 is equivalent to 5 7/9. Okay? So that's how you take a mixed number and write it as an improper fraction. What I want to show you now is how to reverse that. If you have an improper fraction, how would you then write it as a mixed number? So steps to write an improper fraction as a mixed number. You divide the numerator by the denominator. Whatever you get as the quotient becomes the whole number. The remainder becomes the numerator of the fraction part, and the denominator stays the same. Simplify if necessary. Okay, so let's take a look at these. So we're looking at example 2. I take 23 and I divide it by 9. So we just want to kind of set up for long division. I know that 9 will go into 23 twice. 2 times 9 is 18. That's as close to 23 as I can get without going over. So I put a 2 here. I then take 2 and I multiply it by the 9. So 2 times 9 is 18. I subtract, and that tells me that I have 5 left over. Okay? So over here, I would get 2. This is the whole number. This is the numerator. This stays the denominator. So I'm going to get 2 and 5/9 left over. Okay? Pretty easy. It's not too bad. All right, let's try the next one. So we're going to take 51 and divide it by 7. I know 7 times 7 is 49, and that's as close to 51 as I can get without going over 51. So I would say 7 goes into 51 7 times. I multiply 7 times 7 and subtract. 7 times 7 is 49, so I want to subtract 49, which just gives me 2. So remember, the numerator is the whole number. The denominator becomes the numerator of your mixed number. Or not the denominator, the remainder. I'm sorry, the remainder becomes the numerator of your fraction part. And then the denominator just stays the same. So this becomes 7 with 2 out of 7 left over. So make sure you know how to convert between improper fractions and mixed numbers. It will for sure come up with fractions, okay?